Mushoku Tensei is easily one of the few isekai series that I really enjoy, right up there with Tensura because of its comprehensive world building and compelling storylines. And after catching up to all the novels, I was sold on how amazing this series really is, especially when it comes to the characters. That's why in today's video, I wanted to go over some of the individuals that are considered to be the strongest in the series, mainly the 7 great powers. Now there will be plenty of spoilers because this video will contain information from the Mushoku Tensei light novel and web novel. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribing to the channel for more breakdowns like this in the future.
1位から順に義神、龍神、闘神、魔神、死神、剣神、北神だったかな?
To start, the 7 great powers is a ranking system used to refer to the 7 strongest people in the Mushoku Tensei world. This ranking system was created by an individual known as the Technic God around the time that the Second Great Human-Demon War has ended. When it was created, the Technic God was actually considered to be one of the strongest people in the world, and the purpose of the system was so that he could find powerful people that are capable of defeating him. Eventually, he found 6 individuals worthy of the title and declared them, along with himself, the 7 great powers. As of making this video and following the anime, the holders of the 7 great powers and their ranks are as follows. Number 1 is the Technic God Laplace, or at least the dragon race side of him. The second is the dragon god orsted. Third is not actually an individual but rather the fighting god armor itself. Then at number 4 is the demon or magic god Laplace, which is the demon race side of him. The death god Randolph Marian is 5th, the sword god Galfarion with the number 6 spot, and finally the north god Kalman III being number 7, more on them later. Now, although the 7 powers are considered the absolute strongest in the world, they aren't actually equal when it comes to their overall strength. In fact, the strength of the top 4 powers is far greater than that of the 3 below them, being split into the upper ranks and the lower ranks. That said, in order to spread the name of the 7 great powers across the world, stone monuments were scattered around the world in places where the mana concentration is high. The monument is of knee height with the number 7 in the fighting god language inscribed in the middle. Encircling the number are the motifs for the respective 7 great powers, with the rank 1 located above the number, then going clockwise and in order are the rest of the motifs of the 7 great powers. Additionally, whenever there is a change in the rank or a new power has appeared, the monuments will automatically update itself with their respective motifs. Anyways, eventually the title of the 7 great powers became widely known throughout the world, but later it fell out of use after the Laplace War. That's because during the Laplace War, the original 7 great powers had participated in the war except for the Technic God. In the aftermath, 3 of the powers were killed, one of them went missing and another one was sealed away, with the Dragon God being the only one to leave that conflict alive, but later he too would disappear. So with 4 of the upper rank powers missing and that only the 3 lower ranks being the ones that really had changes to their rankings, it was only natural that people would eventually start to forget or stop using the title of the 7 great powers. So now let's go over each of the 7 great powers, starting with Laplace, who holds the title of Technic and Demon God. A little backstory about Laplace: he is actually a demon-dragon hybrid and he used to be one of the 5 dragon generals that served the first dragon god. Additionally, he also possesses the same curse of fear and hate that Orsted has. When the dragon world along with the 4 other worlds had collapsed, he was one of the few survivors that managed to escape into the human world. During his time in the human world, he became the second dragon god and spent his days researching or developing methods and techniques to defeat the human god Hitogami. He would go on to teach those who call themselves dragon gods about the techniques he had developed, so they would eventually pass the power down to the current dragon god Orsted. However, during the Second Great Human-Demon War, he fought against the fighting god who was an apostle of Hitogami. Laplace was defeated by the fighting god and on the verge of death, he performed the reincarnation magic of the dragon race, but the spell went out of control. This caused his soul to split into 2 halves, causing him to lose his memory and becoming 2 entities, the Technic God and the Demon God. Now, as the Technic God, he managed to retain the dragon race side of him, but he lost all his magic powers, only remembering the techniques that he developed to defeat Hitogami. However, he no longer has any memories of Hitogami, only retaining the memory of needing to overthrow a god by teaching and passing down all his knowledge to people who call themselves Dragon God. And like I said, he was the one that created the 7 great powers ranking system, and he actually ranked himself first, but technically Orsted should be the person at number 1. Now, as for the demon god Laplace, or sometimes referred to as the magic god, he managed to retain the demon race side of him. However, he also acquired the curse of fear and hate, as well as losing all his dragon powers, making him unable to use any battle aura just like Rudeus Greyrat. Despite that, he still has his enormous magical powers and all of his magical knowledge. And just like the Technic God, he lost his memories of Hitogami, only remembering his hatred and mistaking his mission to kill the human god into killing the humans instead. Because of his hatred, he unified the entire demon continent and waged war on humanity. He was quite close to defeating humanity, and during this time, he somehow managed to transfer his curse of fear and hate over to the superb tribe. In desperation, humanity launched a final attack on Laplace and 7 heroes were sent to confront him. Although Laplace doesn't have better aura, he was still insanely powerful, being able to kill 4 of the 7 heroes. The remaining 3, which consisted of Dragon God Urupan, Perugius Dollar, and the first North God Kalm, was only able to defeat Laplace thanks to Rudeus Greyrat, who had betrayed him. However, they were unable to kill Laplace, so he was simply sealed away. That's why he is still ranked as the 4th great power, because he is not dead, only sealed away. And according to orsted, Laplace will be resurrected in another 80 to 100 years. So moving on, we have the current Dragon God Orsted, ranked number 2 in the 7 great powers and is the 100th generation Dragon God. His father is the first Dragon God and his mother is the daughter of the original human god, giving him the blood of both the dragon race and the human god. That's why he's said to be the strongest being in the world, even surpassing the Technic God. His father was the one that sealed Hitogami inside the Void World, and just before he died, he used the remainder of his powers to send Orsted into the future with a mission to kill Hitogami. Additionally, his father also placed him inside a time loop, and he has already experienced the same world for more than 100 times. The only way for him to escape from the time loop is to fulfill his mission to kill Hitogami. That's why he has spent all his time preparing, mastering almost every sword fighting and magical techniques in the world, reaching the rank of God in almost all of them. However, he will constantly lose to Hitogami in all his loops because he suffers from the curse of fear and hate, so he always had to fight alone. But when Nanahoshi and Rudeus came into the world, they were not affected by the curse, causing a change in the loop. According to Hitogami, the descendants of Rudeus will be the ones that will help Orsted to defeat him. On a side note, Orsted also suffers from 2 additional curses, and the first one is the curse of being invisible from the gaze of Hitogami, meaning Hitogami is unable to see or know where or what he is doing. The second one is a curse that causes him to have extremely slow mana regeneration, taking several decades just to restore some of his mana. That's why he rarely uses magic and several of his techniques and has to rely on the help from Rudeus Greyrat. Next is the Fighting God, ranked 3rd on the 7 great powers, and like I said, this title does not belong to any individual person but the Fighting God armor itself. As long as the armor is not destroyed, it will always remain at 3rd place regardless of who wore the armor. Now the armor was created by Laplace before he was split into 2 entities and it will bestow the wearer the strongest powers possible. However, the armor itself is sentient and will feed on the life force of the wearer until they are completely drained, and from the moment someone puts the armor on, they are unable to take the armor off and it will start dominating their minds, causing the wearer to slowly go berserk, unable to tell the difference between good and evil, only having the desire to fight. According to orsted, the only way to defeat the Fighting God armor is to hit the wearer with such a powerful spell that it can briefly destroy the armor to separate the wearer from it. Now, as for who wore the armor before, Demon Lord Bardigadi wore it on 2 occasions. The first one was during the second Great Human Demon War, where he used it to fight against Dragon God Laplace as the apostle of Hitogami. But before Laplace was defeated, he managed to fire a powerful spell that completely destroyed Bardigadi and the armor, punching a hole through the supercontinent, resulting in the creation of the Ringus Sea. The Fighting God armor then sank into the middle of the sea and will be left there for thousands of years. The second occasion was when Bardigadi joined Geese as the apostle of Hitogami once again to fight against Rudeus and Orsted after Hitogami told him where to find the Fighting God armor. But when Bardigadi got defeated, he and the Fighting God armor were now sealed below the Earth Dragon Valley located in the Behavioral Kingdom. At the number 5th spot, we have the Death God Randolph Marion, who got his spot after defeating Lexus, the previous Death God. He used to be quite a powerful and battle-hungry warrior, but after countless battles, he grew tired of it and retired to his home country. He started working as a chef in his family restaurant, but after his experience with Rudeus, who criticized his cooking, he became disheartened and the restaurant closed down. He was then recruited by Shagao Gargantis, a high general from the King Dragon realm, to serve as a knight. He was later assigned to be the personal bodyguard of Pax Chiron, and he helped Pax to overthrow the Chiron kingdom. Randolph is extremely loyal to Pax because he and his wife Benedict were the only people to ever praise his cooking. When Pax died, he vowed to protect Queen Benedict and teach Pax's son the way of the sword and cooking. He's a practitioner of the North God style and was actually a candidate for the rank of North God. In the side story Jobless Obliged, Rudeus' son Sighart Saladin Greyrat will become the next Death God, so either he was given the title or he defeated Randolph. Moving on to the number 6 spot is the Sword God Farion. He was considered to be the strongest in the Sword God style with an extremely fast sword arm that was even acknowledged by the Water God Radar. He actually challenged Orsted once before but lost, so he continued to train, hoping to eventually face him again. During his training and travels, he passed through the Great Forest where he would encounter Gilin the Dodia and took her as one of his students, eventually helping her to reach the rank of Sword King. Later, he would also take Elinalise Dragonroad as a student because he saw potential in her and was interested in her dream to defeat Orsted as well. Elinalise would also reach the rank of Sword King because of him. That said, Gao eventually lost his rank and title as the Sword God when he was defeated by his student Gino Brits, causing him to leave the Holy Land of the Sword with a broken pride. He later would join Geese to fight against Rudeus, but the main reason he helped Geese was simply because he wanted to face Orsted again so that he can regain his pride as a warrior. However, before he got a chance to fight against Orsted, he ultimately died at the hands of Elinalise, who took advantage of his broken pride. Finally, we have Alexander Rybak, or better known as the North God Kalman III. He is rank 7 and the current North God. He is the son of the second North God Kalman II, grandson of the first North God Kalman, and immortal demon lord Ataulfare. Because he is a descendant of Ataulfare, he is also immortal and he is able to regenerate or recover from fatal wounds. According to his father, Alexander was quite talented in the North God style from a young age, and there wasn't anyone in his generation that could even defeat him. However, he was obsessed in becoming a hero and surpassing his predecessors, so he decided to join Geese to get a chance to fight Orsted. However, he was subsequently defeated by Rudeus, and as a result, the North God was no longer rank 7, instead it was replaced by the title of Quagmire, making Rudeus part of the 7 great powers. Before he surrendered though, Alexander took the fighting god armor and fought against Orsted, but he got his ass clapped by Orsted in just 10 minutes. The defeat had caused Alexander to rethink his life and he submitted to Orsted, joining the Dragon God faction. So yeah, that's basically all the information I managed to gather on the 7 great powers. My favorite ones are definitely the Dragon God and also Laplace. Dude basically got 2 spots on the ranking, but if you count that he created the fighting god armor, he would have 3 spots on the ranking. But what about you? Which ones are your favorite and did I miss anything? Feel free to share them in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell for more breakdowns like this in the future. Thanks for watching and as always, stay safe everyone.